So we can recognize, look, your forefathers invented it. The Malay. These surnames you carry, how did you carry? Same, for identity. You see, the white man enslaving your great-grandfathers, brought them from Indonesia, from Malaysia. You can't even practice, you can't even pray like this. So you have to do things in secret, in hiding. This man's house, that man's place, that farm, that day, you have to run around like wild bucks. That's how you did it. But when you meet in those conditions, to bacha the Quran, Yasin Sharif, Allah's names, you want to know who's who. You say, what's your name? You say, Yusuf. And you? Say, Ibrahim. You? Dawood. You? Muhammad. You? Yusuf. You? Muhammad. You? Dawood. Right, but now how do you know who's who now? We're talking about this Yusuf. So which Yusuf? You know, I said that Yusuf is a which one? It's a guy who worked for Fenter, man. So he becomes Yusuf Fenter. That Muhammad, he works for Hendrix. You know, Hendrix has enslaved him. He's Muhammad Hendrix. Can you see that? For identity. Now we have to give Yusuf. How many Yusufs? We had to give the identity. We said, look, this is Yusuf Hendrix, this is Yusuf, and this is Johnson. You know, Yusuf Johnson, and this is Yusuf. So that is how convenient labels you created for yourselves to recognize one another. Allah Bari Ta'ala on a global scale, He created convenient labels, different people, so we can recognize them. But we all have a sickness. Who is better among the lot now? I say we, my nation, you know, my nation. I'm a Surti. We say we are the Aryans, a master race. We conquered India 5,000 years ago, my forefathers. My nation belongs to that Morarji Desai, the guy who was ruling India, Prime Minister. Nehru's nation, that's my nation. If I was not a Muslim, I'll be boasting, I'm an Aryan, Arya. So this sickness is there. For 5,000 years, the thing is there. We are being programmed. 5,000 years, the same sickness. We are better than the other fellow. In my village, our villagers, every villager feels he's better than the other villager. There's a river in between. I won't give my daughter to the guy on the other side because that's like a foreign country. On the other side of the river, Salt River, one side is another nation, another side is another nation of Malays. Can you imagine? This guy on the west side, he won't give his daughter to the guy on the east side. That's how we were in India. So this is there. Everybody feels. The German feels he is topmost. The Englishman feels he is topmost. The Buddha feels he is the topmost. Everybody feels he is the topmost. You know that? This is the sickness of man. This is how man feels. It gives him happiness, consolation. So what are you going to do about that sickness? So Allah is telling you, He says, no. These are all false standards. Standard acceptable in His sight, He said, Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. Most certainly, the noblest in Allah's sight is he who is the best in conduct. Not black or white, not Konkani or Malay, not Arab or Ajam, the best in conduct. So this is the only standard. It says, don't drink. Now, it doesn't say you Indian Muslim mustn't drink. No. It says the whole of humanity. Don't touch that abomination. It's an abomination of Satan's handiwork. Don't gamble. It doesn't say the Muslim mustn't gamble, the others must. It's, no. Nobody. People don't gamble. So in other words, a happier community. No drinking, no gambling, no fortune telling, no idol worship. So Islam has a solution to the problem of race. Nobody has it. No other nation, no other system has the problem of race. Islam has the solution. So I said, look, accept Islam. In Medina, before our Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said his sacred feet, they were the Aus and the Khazraj, two tribes. And these tribes were on the verge of exterminating one another. Fighting over little things, killing one another. They are all Arabs, they are all Quraysh. But they are two different tribes. They're killing one another. Until our Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said his sacred feet in Medina, and he offered them Hablillah, the rope of Allah. Allah says, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. Hold fast to the rope of Allah. What is this rope? You see from dangling from heaven? No, Allah's kalam, the Holy Qur'an, that's the rope Allah wants you to hold on to. Once you all, drowning humanity, all of us, when you hold to that, that becomes your common denominator, your mutual support will save you all. Go to the book. We are not going to the book. All of us, we are not going to the book of Allah. Who are we going to? To our leaders. We have our heroes. You know that? My heroes are from Jalalabad. So what that guy says, I accept. The guy from Rawalpindi, what he knows about Islam. The guy from Al-Azhar, what he knows about Islam. The guy who comes from qualified from Al-Azhar, he said, this Hindi fellow, what does he know about Islam? This is the sickness. We got our own heroes. We are hero worshippers. We're not worshipping Allah, we're worshipping our heroes. Therefore, the strife, all this problem is hero worshipping. You go to Allah's kalam, sincerely, all together say, look, let's see what Allah says. And wallah, you'll find the answers there. And even if you make a mistake, Allah will reward you. 2 rewards. Or 1 reward. You make a mistake sincerely. You go to the Quran and you misunderstood and you applied it. Not for mischief making, but you misunderstood. You applied it. Allah will give you 1 reward for that. If you applied it right, He'll give you 10. There's no punishment. On the day of judgment, He say, look, you know, Deedat, you had it all wrong, man. my Lord, He says, look, I didn't know. He said, what was it? He said, no, it was like this. Not the way you understood. Wallah, no punishment. If mischief was not your intention. But I want to create mischief, I want to create division, I want to create people to follow me against the other fellow. How can I create strife that people have to now take sides? That is shaitanic, satanic, devilish. We will be punished for it. Forget the heroes. Go to Allah's kalam. It becomes a common denominator. Then we can talk. So what does Allah say on this subject? What does Allah say? Let's have a look. Is there an ayah about this in the Quran? Allah says, yes. Says, let's have a look. And Allah has given you intelligence. You read it. He says, no man, it makes sense. This is the answer. What do we do with Rushdie? Go to the Quran. Allah tells you what to do. But no, I have my heroes. Should I follow this fellow or that fellow? If it appears that I'm following that guy, then he's the enemy of my hero. So I can't agree with him. I must agree with my hero. What does he say? Now that means you have to go on the day of judgment. Allah will put us with our heroes. If he goes to hell, you'll have to go to hell with him. No. Here the answer is there. The solution to our problems is here in Allah's kalam. Wallah. And there is nothing wet or dry that is not in the book of God, Allah says. Everything that you want, that you need is all there. But you don't know the book. I'm asking people. I delivered a lecture. That do you know that crucifixion is in the Quran? I said, come on, put up your hands. How many of you know? That means you know from reading the Quran that crucifying a person, if the person has done certain mischievous things, that person can be crucified. Very horrible death. You know, like they say what they did to Jesus, we can do to anybody. For certain mischievous behavior, beliefs, we can crucify the man. Ahmed Deedat or Saleh Muhammad or whoever, for certain crimes, the guy deserves to be crucified. If we had the power and the rule, we say Allah says so, this guy deserves to be crucified. I say, how many of you know that in the Quran, this is the type of punishment that you can mete out to certain types of people who commit certain sins, crimes? Please put up your hands. You know, there was only one person. Only one person is that whole huge audience in the masjid. Only one person, he said he knew that such a thing is in the Quran. Can you imagine? And we are Muslims. We are prepared to die for Allah, die for the Quran. No, so what do you know about the Quran? Therefore, I said, look, my brothers, it's necessary. Get the book, man. Today, there's not another nation on earth which is as fortunate